guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be a first impression foundation review on this new foundation from Maybelline. This is the Dream Cushion Fresh Face Liquid Foundation on the go, and it is a cushion foundation, of course, which I was so excited to see that they were coming out with. I've been seeing the big beauty bloggers posting on Snapchat especially about PR packages of receiving these guys, and ever since I saw that, I was like, yes, I want to try that out. So I was so surprised to see it already in a Walmart near me, and I was super excited because normally it takes a while before we actually see it in store once it's been given out as PR and all that kind of stuff. So I did see it in Walmart. It was at the one in Okotoks if you are in the Calgary area and are interested. They had a nice little display of it. I counted that there were 8 shades of foundation on there, which is not ideal. I mean, that's not going to cover everybody. And I will tell you that it was really hard to pick a shade because since these don't have a see-through bottle, I couldn't even really see the shade of foundation and there was no tester. So I just tried the 2 lightest ones. I got number 10 Porcelain and number 15 Ivory. So hopefully one of those will work for me. I am not an expert at cushion foundations by any means. The only other one I've tried is the L'Oreal one, the Magic Lumi one, I believe it's called, or Lumi Cushion or something like that. I had picked that up last year and I really did like that one. I liked the way it looked on the skin. It was very beautiful and luminous. However, I just found that you didn't get a lot of product in there, and I maybe got like 15 uses out of it or something before it was done for. And I did the thing where you like flip the cushion over once you're kind of like low on product. So yeah, I will say that I'm assuming that's going to be the same issue with this foundation. I'll have to update you guys in the future about that because there is 0.51 ounces of product in here, and it did retail for $14.96. I have my receipt right here. So yeah, these were $14.96. And then they also had these concealers on the same display. This is the Maybelline Dream Brightening Creamy Concealer, and this was $9.96. Remember, these are all in Canadian prices, so I'm sure in the States it would be less expensive if you see it there. But yeah, I'm super excited to try these out. What we're gonna do today is I'll just show you a little like a demonstration application type of thing, and I'll give you my first impression thoughts, and then I'll check in with you later on in the day to see the wearability of it. So I think that we should just jump on into it. Alright, so let's see. I'm thinking actually the palest one is what's going to work for me because the stickers are a different color and it kind of depicts what shade it is, and I think the 15 is going to be very pink, but we're just gonna give it a shot here. So you open it up here, it has a nice little mirror on the inside. It comes with an actual cushion, which is how you're supposed to apply it. And I will apply one side of my face with the cushion, and then I'm gonna try with a brush on the other side of my face just to see if there is a difference. But you basically open it up right here like this. You peel this guy off, and then you have the product right there. And I am excited to try this out. So first, I'm actually just gonna see how we're doing for a shade. So maybe I'll just grab a brush. I'm just gonna grab a brush to see a shade. This is number 10, so I'm gonna just put a little bit right here. So that is looking good. That is normally what I would go for, but let's try number 15 just to see. Oh yeah, this one is going to be too dark for me, but I'll just kind of show you guys. Or maybe not. This one just looks a little bit paler and more yellow, and this one looks a little bit pinker. So I'm actually going to do like a little bit of a mix of both of these shades. The 10 is a little bit too light for me, and then the 15 is actually just a tinge too dark. So you guys, I'm needing like a 12.5 over here. So I'm going to just try and mix them together because I actually would love a shade kind of right in the middle of them. So let's apply. I'm going to remove this actually because I basically covered my whole cheek already. Excellent. I'm going to remove that, and then we will go in with the cushion. Alright, so I'm going to start off with this side of my face using the little cushion that it comes with here, and I am just going to dip it into the product, and I am going to use a little bit of both like I said, and I am just going to start putting this on my face. Okay, so far I'm liking the way that this looks. I would say that this is like a sheer to medium coverage. It's not giving me full coverage. I can still see some redness and issues kind of coming through. I have to say that I don't like using this to apply it, and I felt the same way about the L'Oreal Luminous one. It's not that I don't like the way that it looks on the skin, because it does actually look quite dewy and pretty from this. I just find that like on your forehead and like getting into like different areas, this isn't like the easiest tool to work with, and just in general I prefer using a brush. So I am going to, on the other side of my face, switch over to this buffing brush, and we'll see if that makes a difference. So the brush, I found it easier to use this guy to apply it. Maybe I'm just more comfortable using a brush because that is kind of what I use on a daily basis, or a beauty blender. But I will say that on like my nose area, the brush kind of left it streaky looking. So patting it with this sponge did leave it looking a little bit nicer. So yes, even though I prefer to use the brush, I actually think that I like the way that the sponge side looks. As I'm like going with the sponge all over my face. But yeah, so far my skin still looks very like a natural skin satiny type of finish. And yeah, so far it looks really nice. This is definitely something I would set though with a powder. I set most of my foundations, but this is something that I could see throughout the day kind of transferring, because it does have such that like satiny glow to it kind of thing. I am going to see if I can build this foundation up a little bit, because I would need some more coverage, especially in this area. So I am just going to go dipping in here again. I do really like the fact that you don't have to put any foundation like on the back of your hand and then dot it on your face, or like pump it onto something first. It is actually super convenient. Oops. It's super convenient to be able just to dip your brush right in and go ahead. And I will say that this is definitely not something I will throw away, because it is meant to be on the go. It says it right on the lid there. So if this is something you're just like tossing in your purse or for travel, this actually would be quite handy to have along with it. Okay, so let's move along to the concealer now. This is the Maybelline Brightening Creamy Concealer, like I had mentioned previously. I'm a huge fan of Maybelline concealers, like the Maybelline Fit Me, the Better Skin, the Age Rewind. I love all of those. So, you know, I do have high hopes for this guy. It does come in this little like stick kind of like painted on type of format, which I do find to be quite convenient. I'm hoping that it's not too sticky or like hard to work with, because that is kind of what I picture in a stick concealer, but let's just give this a go. And mine is in the shade 10 Fair, which was the lightest one. Okay, so this concealer actually blended out with my brush a lot easier than I was expecting it to. It does have a much creamier consistency. I was expecting it to be quite like hard and kind of like tug on that under eye area, but it didn't at all. But I will say that while it is very like brightening and it does have a nice luminous quality to it, it doesn't have enough coverage for me. Like I can still see kind of some darkness in that eye area, and I think I would like this if I had used like an under eye corrector or something underneath it, and then get that nice like dewy luminous quality from this guy. But in general, I'm always going to set my under eye area with a powder, so I would prefer something just to have more coverage, because that kind of luminosity will go away, I'm assuming, once I set it with a powder. So far my first impressions without other makeup on is I am loving the way this foundation looks. I think that it is super pretty and natural, but it does have definitely a medium coverage once I built it up. The concealer is not my favorite. I feel like it actually, like looking in the mirror right now, is almost highlighting that darkness under my eyes rather than covering it up. So that is where we're at currently. I am going to go put on the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Ooh, but before I put on all my makeup, I just wanted to do a nice kind of like zoomed in shot of the foundation and concealer on its own, so you guys can see how it looks without any other products. Alright, so the rest of my makeup is on now. Just in case you are interested, I used the Dermablend Loose Setting Powder for my under eye area. I took the NYX Stay Matte But Not flat powder foundation and just did a very light dusting on my skin to make sure that foundation was set in place because it didn't dry completely down. It does have a very nice luminous dewy finish, and just taking kind of like a big loose fluffy brush, I just kind of set it in place, but hopefully kept a little bit of that luminosity in there. For bronzer, I use the Body Shop Honey Bronze. I love this guy. And then for blush, I have the Urban Decay Indecent. It's just like a beautiful kind of like peachy nude. And then I used the NYX Strobe of Genius highlighting palette for my cheeks and also on my inner corner area. So far, you guys, I am loving the way this foundation looks. It looks very natural on my skin. You, of course, can, it's not like one of those like no makeup type of foundations. It did provide a decent amount of coverage. I would say like a medium coverage. I did have to build it up in certain areas, but it looks very natural on my skin. Everything applied nicely on top of it. In fact, even the concealer, once I put the powder on top of it, I mean, I swear this setting powder is just magic, but once I put the powder on top of the concealer, I actually like the way it looks now. You know, it doesn't have like the highest amount of coverage, but it doesn't look at all cakey or like I actually even have really anything on that under eye area, which I really enjoy. So far, so good. This foundation, like, thumbs up so far in my books, but it has only been on my skin for about 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to go about my day. I have some errands to do and other stuff to get done. So I'm going to check back in with you guys in a couple hours. All right, guys, just a quick little check-in here. It is about 1:30 p.m. So this has been on my face now for just over 3 hours and it still looks amazing. This check-in is just really to tell you guys that it still looks the same as it did when I first applied it. And I have vacuumed my house and I have done a bunch of stuff around here. So I have kind of been moving and grooving and it still looks very good. I was eating hot soup and it got like steamy in my chin area. So it kind of got like a little bit weird right here, but that was kind of my own fault because it was like steaming humidity right there. But in general, loving how it looks at this point. So I will check in with you guys again later. All right, you guys, this foundation has been on my skin now for about 10 hours. And I have to tell you guys that I am very impressed with this. It still looks very similar to how it did when I first applied it this morning. I do look a little bit tired. It has been a long day, but all in all, you know, it has broken up a little bit in this area and it looks a little bit strange on my nose, just like kind of broken, but I normally find some issues in my chin area where I need some more help and some more coverage, and overall I think that it looks quite nice, and I love that it doesn't look like I have a ton of makeup on my skin. It's a very nice, natural, lightweight type of foundation, and so just to get my thoughts kind of in order to conclude this, I want to do like a little pros and cons list. So to start off with the pros, I love the finish of the foundation, which is of course so important. I love that it has like a natural satin finish. It's not extremely mattifying. So with that said, I suppose a con of it is that if you have extremely oily skin, I don't know how much you would like this foundation. I'm quite dry, and I actually like the way it's given my skin a little bit of luminosity and dewiness throughout the day. Another pro of it is the packaging. Actually, the packaging is a pro and a con. It is hard to pick a shade because the only way you can tell what shade it is from the actual sticker. The sticker, I guess, is supposed to depict what the shade is, but that's of course not, you know, the ideal way to find a foundation. Hopefully at your local store when you're purchasing, you'll be able to have a tester, but I wasn't able to have that. Another con of it, I suppose, is that I did need to have two to get my right shade. The price, $14.96, I think is actually quite reasonable. I know that is, you know, expensive at the drugstore, but for a really nice foundation that I would say is comparable to a high-end foundation, like for how much I like it, I think that that is, you know, a really great price point. I think that the packaging, like I was saying, I think it's a pro because it'd be really great to travel with. You don't have to worry about it spilling. It almost has like a double kind of like spill-proof container in the sense that the top opens and then there's another clickable thing right here. So great for travel. I agree with the claim that it is, you know, liquid foundation on the go. The little spongy thing in there was not my favorite to apply with, just because I found it kind of hard to get into like my nose area on the side over here. Guys, I was just editing this video and my camera so rudely cut me off just as I was giving my little outro. So I just wanted to jump on here quickly to wrap things up and let you guys know that I have been wearing this foundation for the past few days as well since I filmed that video, and I still absolutely love it. I think that it has the most beautiful finish to it. Like my skin still looks like skin, and I think especially if you have normal to dry skin that you would love this, and it would also be a winner for you as well. I would have to give this like a 9 out of 10 on my foundation scale. That is how much blush, I love it. I just think that it is absolutely beautiful and it wears very nicely as well. The concealer is not my favorite just because it doesn't have a lot of coverage, but since that video, since the first day I filmed, I have been using that concealer with a corrector underneath, just one from NYX, and I really like it using it in that way because it gives me that little bit extra coverage. But if you are someone that likes more of a natural concealer, I think you would like that one because it is a very nice formulation. I would probably give the concealer, for me personally, like a 6 out of 10. I do think that there are better ones out there, but overall I am very impressed with this launch from Maybelline. I would highly recommend it. Let me know if you guys end up checking it out, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe because it means so much to me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.